This is James Lupton for Pro Boxing Fans. Delighted to be joined on Zoom today with Frank Sanchez. Frank, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Fantastic. I want to start at the beginning. Frank, can you tell me a little bit about your upbringing and how you got into boxing in Cuba?
I started when I was 9 years old. I've advanced very quickly when I was a little kid. I was a national champion, international champion, and just been doing it ever since I can remember.
Remember his first day in the gym. Do you remember what it was like to walk in there for the first time?
He said he still remembers very clearly the first day that he put on a pair of gloves when he was 9 years old. And they put him in the ring with an older opponent. And he said as soon as he put the gloves on, it's almost like he got claustrophobic. He said, "Take these gloves off of me."
Fantastic. See, the Cuban amateur boxing system is well known worldwide for how successful it is. What's your best memories of the Cuban amateur system?
It's really two things. My number one memory is winning the Cuban national championship, beating Cuba's number one fighter, Savone. He said, but it was bittersweet because even though I won, because of politics, they sent Savone to the Olympics, and I should have been in the Olympics.
How did that make you feel at the time when you feel you should have gone to the Olympics over Savone?
He said, I felt absolutely terrible because, I sacrificed so much. I trained so hard. The Olympics is only once every 4 years. And to know that I won, I beat the best fighter in Cuba, but I still was denied the opportunity to go, I really felt terrible.
And at what point, was that the point that he turned professional? Was that the point that you decided that the amateur game was no longer for you?
Yeah, he said that's when I knew I had to make it to the United States, turn pro, and use the same dedication in my pro career.
And looking back at your pro career so far, how pleased are you with the progress of your career?
Yeah, he said, look, everything's going great. I'm so happy with my team and the way my career is progressing, and I'm doing everything I have to do to become world champion.
Absolutely. Now, you've been with Eddie Reynoso and Team Canelo for a little while. How has that been to train alongside somebody like Canelo and to spar Canelo as well?
Said that obviously working with Canelo and Eddie has been tremendous for me. I'm learning an enormous amount working with him. And he said even sparring with Canelo, he has such incredible movement and defense that it's helping me with my mobility and, moving around and really, I'm still learning with Canelo, and it's been a tremendous help to my career. And it's just great working with those guys.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned you're happy with your progress in your career so far and you're looking to push on for world titles. You are climbing up the rankings with the WBO. Now, of course, you've got the Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury situation alongside Oleksandr Usyk and Joe Joyce. Where do you fit into that, and how long do you feel until you're amongst these guys?
I feel like I'm within that group of fighters. I'm in the elite level. I think I can do well with any of them.
Now, I believe that there was a fight offered to Joseph Parker. It did not materialise. Do you worry that you are too high risk for low reward? Do you feel you have to get yourself into a mandatory position to be able to get these big names?
I really don't know how to answer that. All I can say is I'm ready to fight any of them. I don't know how to answer that. I mean, as his co-manager, I can speak to that. Of course, the goal is the emphasis on the WBO, really trying to get into a mandatory position there, because you're absolutely right. Very high risk, low reward to fight someone as skilled as Frank. But I think that he's sort of trending in that direction to maybe, if not be in line to fight the winner of Joyce and Usyk, at least to be in a position where he's going to maybe get in a mandatory situation with Parker, because that's the way it's playing out. Andy Ruiz hasn't fought in a year and a half. That's the guy ahead of him. And there's one other, Fan, who I don't expect to get past, Parker. So that effectively is going to put Frank at least at number 4. And if 1 and 2 fight for a vacant or an interim, it's going to put Frank effectively at 1 or 2. You know, so I think the WBO is probably the path, but who knows? Something can open up.
Absolutely. Just in terms of, we mentioned Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Give us a little prediction on that. How do you see that one going? Who do you favour to be successful in that fight?
He said they're both tremendous fighters. But having said that, I see that, you know, Fury is a little bigger. He has a little better movement. He just said I give him a slight advantage, and I if I had to pick, I'd have to pick Fury, but they're both very, very good. It's a great fight.
Obviously, you was lost in the ring in December. How did you feel that fight went for yourself? And when are you hoping to be back in the ring next?
Yeah, he said, you know, I finished the year great with back-to-back wins on big platforms in November and December. And he said, so at the end of the day, it's just, you know, the win and keep moving forward. But in 2021, he says, I think I'm really ready to, you know, step it up and get in world title contention.
And very finally, is there anybody that you are targeting for 2021? Is there anybody that you would like to call out?
Sí, hay a Joshua, a Usyk, esa gente quiero pelearle.
You don't need a translator for that. Joshua, Usyk, that's really who I want to fight.
Fantastic. Well, Frank Sanchez, appreciate your time today. Mike, appreciate you translating and for you guys speaking to pro boxing fans.
To all my boxing fans out there, first, thank you for the interview. And to all my boxing fans out there, I just want to let them know that I'm going to keep working my best and trying to put on good shows, and hopefully they'll keep following me and we'll have a great 2021.